Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to A Bite of Wellness. I'm your host, Chef Ricardo from Wellness in the Schools. In the interest of keeping our shows fresh and keeping up with using technology to stay connected with each other, we wanted to share new content that could help to support your health. In particular, the following episode has been adapted from an Instagram live recording focused on the connection between fish and health. In this episode, Chefs Marion and L'Oreal discuss the importance of serving fish to children, both at home and in a school. They'll share some of their tips and tricks for incorporating salmon into your meals, and they'll demonstrate how to prepare a baked salmon nugget and fillet as the basis for a healthy dinner. In this episode, they'll be joined by registered dietitian nutritionist Maya Feller, who also serves on the board of directors of Wellness in the Schools. As always, be prepared to take a picture or a screenshot of the recipes at the end of the episode. I don't think you'll want to miss these. And we hope that you'll enjoy the following demonstration.
Hello, Chef L'Oreal. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So we're prepping today for an Instagram live event with Maya Feller. And she's an amazing nutritionist and registered dietitian, and I just love working with her, and so it's going to be really great. We're actually making salmon. I see you're prepping that right now.
We are. We're making a fish dish because sometimes it's a little tricky to get kids to eat fish, so we're going to give you ways to make that a little bit easier.
That's awesome. That's great. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm so glad you were able to make up the trip to the Bronx today from Brooklyn.
Yep.
And it really, I know that it's a little bit hectic, but it's really nice that you were able to get up here to us. And so we're going to also accompany that with a salad and potato salad. So that way we get a little bit on the lighter side. And one of the things, I think you're making breading here. You have some breading.
I do. So because we're kind of making this salmon a little bit kid-friendly, we want to add some things that kids like, and sometimes they love breadcrumbs.
Yes.
But what we're going to do with those breadcrumbs are season them up a little bit, as well as the fish, pop them in the oven for maybe 7 minutes, put them on a plate with a piece of fruit, a nice warm salad, drizzle a nice homemade yogurt-based tartar sauce.
Oh,
full of herbs, lemon zest to brighten it up, and I think they'll love it.
I love it already. And in fact, I'm setting up your contrast plate for your parents, so that way you have a parent version of that plate. And so I just set it up with the fruit, just like the child would have, and then also some lemon for fresh squeeze. And then I'll make the potato salad. But I'm really looking forward to this event with you, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. I am so excited for this live and demo. Since we're getting started a little bit late, I don't want to take too much time. But basically, I'm on the board of Wellness in the Schools, and this is an organization that is nationwide that's really centered around improving the health and nutrition of children in this country, really helping to bring food to the forefront and reduce their risk of developing a non-communicable condition, early on in life and as well as later on in life. And so tell us what you're going to be working on today.
Awesome. So we're talking about fish today. And we were really excited to get some salmon fish to use for a demonstration. And it's not something you always share with children. So Chef L'Oreal's come up with a really great recipe for today's demonstration.
Amazing. So you're going to be using some salmon, and we're getting a request. Is it possible to come in a little bit closer to you so that we can see what you all are doing? I don't know, Ricardo, if you're able to bring the camera a tiny bit closer so that we can see all the fantastic things that are about to happen. Amazing. You're getting in there. I love this. Excellent. All right. So you started out by saying that, right, salmon's not necessarily something that we think about as, being used for kids. So yeah, I want to hear kind of how you reimagined the salmon and what you did with it and how you, made it awesome.
Well, Chef L'Oreal's going to tell you a little bit about it. I wanted to just speak a little bit about school food and, the access to food for children in school. A lot of it comes from the decisions that the vendors have. So we have vendors and you have your districts and then they have their vendors that give them food. So we're hoping that if they see this, they'll see that children will love that and you can actually give them easier access to creating a simple dish that all children can get access to. They do have things in school, but not specifically things like salmon. So, Chef L'Oreal, what are you making today?
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time today. So what's awesome about Wellness in Schools is that we have an amazing Cook for Kids program which empowers the student. The student takes full ownership of what they make. And I think it's a good way to get kids to actually eat things like salmon. Okay? So today we're gonna make a nice breaded salmon nuggets for the child or the kid plate. And we'll also do a salmon fillet with some beautiful herbs, salad, potato salad for you. So it should be fun.
Excellent. And I agree with you, right? When we're thinking about how foods get into schools, I think sometimes the general public doesn't realize that this is very much linked to funding dollars, right? And it's also linked to whether or not the schools themselves have outside funding, because the food that really is designated for public schools, although food is not as nutritionally diverse as we would want it to be. And it also, if we're thinking about getting kids to engage in eating food from an early age, we need organizations like WITS to really be on the ground, working with communities, bringing people the food that they know they like and they love, and ones that are very much in line with their food culture, right? So, all right, I'm going to turn it back over to you, and I'm going to let you walk me through kind of what this is going to look like.
Okay. Terrific. Go for it. So Chef L'Oreal's gonna wash your hands first, and then she's gonna get right into it.
Always clean hands first, okay? Please go ahead and wash my hands.
We start there, and so you asked where we were. I'm just gonna let you know we're in the Bronx at the Praxis Housing Community Center inside the building, and we're here ready to, bring some excitement to the residents here in the Praxis Housing Community. So, Chef L'Oreal, you got your product. What do you have here?
So here, today we have a beautiful salmon fillet. So for some, this looks a little intimidating, but to make it kid-friendly, again, we engage students, right? We give them ownership of a knife that's for them, that's kid-friendly. So for the nugget, I actually want to cut it in sizes so that children can actually handle the piece a little bit better. So cut it into, I don't know, maybe a half-inch piece. And at this point, they can actually see that this salmon looks friendly, right? It doesn't look like something so foreign to them, something that they can actually work with and handle. Today, we're going to season this up just a little bit. With children, you don't want to go too heavy on spices. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Himalayan sea salt, another ingredient that you can introduce kids to. So a little bit of education around the ingredient. A smidget of black pepper. I have a nice breading station here. I've already flavored the water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I'm going to use herbs there as well, because you need a little bit of wetness to the nugget so that the breadcrumbs can actually adhere to it. So we're going to dip it in the water just a little bit. Now, Maya, do you have children?
So yes, I do have children. One of them is a vegetarian and the other one eats everything. So this would be perfect actually for me and for my daughter. But I have to say, Chef, I love that you put a little bit of apple cider vinegar into the water for some additional flavor. And I also love that you used herbs and spices with the breadcrumbs, right? So I love how you're taking things that are phytonutrient rich and adding a little bit of nutrition, right, into something in a kind of seamless way.
I've added just a touch of olive oil to it just to help the breadcrumbs kind of brown a little bit.
I love it.
Pop these in the oven, okay? Excellent.
And so, Chef, when you're working with the kids, you all actually have them in the kitchen doing this by side. They have the knives, you teach them the skills, they're working and they're touching actual food, things that maybe they hadn't been exposed to before. And what is usually kind of the response from the kids that you work with?
Oh, wow. A lot of excitement as soon as they walk in the room, because of course I have to prepare ahead of time. So I'm already cooking, say maybe applesauce. It is fall.
Exactly.
So I have cinnamon growing, I have nutmeg brewing, I have all of these wonderful flavors to entice them as they walk into the classroom. So I kind of grasp them there. All right. So not so hard, but setting up the room and being engaging visually and using their senses to kind of entice them to what's ahead. So Maya, I am also going to prepare a fillet for the adult plate. So what I've done here is I've left the skin on. I've left the skin on the fillet. And I was thinking I would do something a little different for the adult. Here we can use a little bit more flavor. All right, adults tend to want a little more flavor on their fish. So I'll use a little kosher sea salt here, a little black pepper. I'm gonna put a little garlic powder and Old Bay seasoning on one of the fillets. And then I have some mustard here. We're gonna take it up a notch. I'm gonna brush one of the fillets with a little mustard, and then put on some herbs de Provence. Right?
Delicious.
As this stuff for the adult plate. And then onto our baking sheet, a little olive oil drizzle, and then in the oven, 375 for about 7 minutes. The one thing we don't want to do is overcook the salmon. Right?
What I love about this is that we have now introduced the flavors, right? The Old Bay, that's the flavor, and this is what we're talking about. You have to create a full plate for the student. So with my plate, we have our sample plate, very similar to what children would see in school. And so we have our grains there, we have our fruit, and then on our fish, we will meet the grain requirement for the nugget. And then I'm going to make my potato, which is also my vegetable. So with a very similar dressing, you're going to have a topping and an accompaniment to yours. I am ready to go. I've got my skins. Skins contain the nutrients. Let's keep the nutrients in. Okay, we're talking about nutrient-dense food. And so much easier, I find, little kitchen hack, to boil my potato, leave it in the refrigerator, let it get firm overnight, and then now I'll make my vinaigrette for it. And so my vinaigrette is going to be very similar to what L'Oreal's making, but I'm going to make my vinaigrette here in the bowl, and I'll add my potato and toss it. So I'll let you get to L'Oreal. I have my vinegar, I have my parsley is chopped, I have a little salt and some ground fresh pepper. I'm going to put some scallions in after, but here is my olive oil, and I'm going to just slowly whisk the olive oil in so that way it emulsifies quickly. And then my real emulsifier for this connection, I'll ask you, L'Oreal, can I have a little of your honey? Absolutely. Thank you. So the honey's going to bring it together. And so there you go. Oil and vinegar will mix. Just take a little bit. I'm just going to take it. Okay. Just going to pour a little. And this is the nice thing about this particular holder is that there we go. That's all I need. And that's my emulsifier. I'm going to add my potatoes, but I'm going to turn it back over to L'Oreal so she can show you how she makes her tartar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we all love tartar sauce, right? When we're eating any kind of seafood. What we've done differently here is that we've eliminated the mayo and added yogurt, all right? So we're using plain yogurt as our base. And to this, we're gonna add all of our yummy goodies. The brine from Cornichons, those yummy pickles that you see in tartar sauce, add a little of the brine. Lots of herbs here. I know kids sometimes shy away from things that are green, but we have a combination here, parsley and chives, and a little bit of dill. And then, of course, the pickles. They love pickles, though. Exactly. They always ask for pickles in the lunchroom. Exactly. And we give this a nice little mix with a hint of lemon. And I have this nice little lemon squeezer here that's also kid-friendly. It's small enough for their hands, and it also measures out the juice and eliminates the seeds. So let's just pour in a little lemon juice to brighten it up, and then a little bit of olive oil. And there we have a quick and easy homemade tartar sauce that you can do, you know, with any meal or with the meal for your seafood.
I mean, let's get real. Children like condiments, okay? So we all know that. And there's more condiments that you can use than just ketchup. So that's what we're showing you. Yeah. Children do like that. So I love that you made that.
So yeah, so this is the tartar sauce. And I'm going to do another sauce here just to kind of switch it up a little bit. Children also love honey mustard. All right, I know my son, I have a 10-year-old son. He loves honey mustard with, you know, lots of different things. And again, very simple here. And, you know, at Wellness in the Schools, we use a variety of tools. This is one of them. When we're making homemade dressings, we like to just have tools where students can just put everything in a container, shake it up, and it's ready to go. Sometimes we don't need a whisk for everything, right? And this is just another way to show kids the variety of tools and things that are easily accessible in the kitchen. So I'm going to add a little bit of honey here, a little bit of mustard, and of course measuring spoons. We talk about measuring spoons in detail and how they're used in the kitchen. And then again, I'm adding a little bit more apple cider vinegar. All right?
And so I see that you all use apple cider vinegar quite a bit in your kitchen. Is there any specific reason that you chose apple cider vinegar in comparison to another vinegar?
We're in fall, and apples are in season. So that's the reason why I chose it. And I really love that it's a little bit more delicate than the white vinegar. So, yeah, that's my choice.
Right, and in fact, when you're talking about children and giving and making the food accessible, we want to start them off low. We don't want to start chopping their palate with something like a harsher vinegar. It's nice to start off with something a little bit softer. And so that's perfect. The other thing we do use is a balsamic vinegar. We do have a balsamic vinaigrette. That's one of our other vinegars that we use a lot of. Now, one of the things I wanted to say that was an interesting point is, I know we have a lot of things here. It may seem a little daunting for families. You're coming home quick, you want to make something fast. There's no reason why that honey mustard that you're using there as your topping could not have gone in my potatoes. I could have made this a honey mustard dressing and used it twice. One of the things we like to use is these vinaigrettes and use as marinades. So if I had something left over, what would I do? Put that on my chicken for tomorrow's dinner. Bottom line is these things can be used over and over again, but you know what goes in it. That's the key to this, is knowing what goes in it yourself. I can buy it off the shelf in the store, and sometimes that's convenient. But why not make your own? And know what goes in it.
And that's the key. We, again, want to empower students to know what's in their food. Exactly. So I have a little bit of a swab out here. Our braised and our nuggets that we made that I demoed are still cooking a few more minutes, but I just want to show you the outcome here. They look delicious. So I'm going to put another tool that I love to share or talk about is the fish spatula. So it's wonderful picking up things, and if you happen to be frying something, it'll just release all the oil out of it. So I'll put three nice pieces of nuggets there on the kid plate. And then my beautiful herby filet on the adult plate. And then we'll have Chef Marion put on the potato salad.
Give you some potato salad here. This is the portion for our child in school. And here are, and you know, they like the dice. Let's just get real. It gives a really great presentation and easy for children to pick up with their little fork at lunchtime. So here we go. We now have our portion for our adults, and we have the portion for the child. And so there's the quick potato salad. And of course, we know it travels well because it doesn't have mayonnaise. We don't have to worry about ice packs and things like that. So that helps us when we're moving around. What do you got there?
This is a homemade honey mustard dressing.
Love
So
it.
put it in a squeeze bottle, make it fine. A nice little drizzle here on the side.
Exactly.
And then our tartar sauce, you know, make that plate friendly again. Maybe we'll do a happy face here. I don't know, a little happy face right on for the kids to enjoy.
I love it. This is so incredibly creative and just really forward thinking. I love that you took salmon, something that is so nutrient rich, incredible for brain health, really good for heart health, excellent source of protein, amazing source of omega-3s. That specific salmon has over 2,000 milligrams of omega-3s per serving. So good for kids who are trying to learn in school. We want them to run, we want them to jump, we want them to have a great time. And this plate that you've put together, in my opinion, should be in every single school throughout the nation. So I see someone asking if there's a substitute for yogurt. So it depends on if you can tolerate nuts. You can absolutely use a nut-based substitute for the yogurt because you're lactose intolerant. You could also use, just as you all made, the mustard vinaigrette, although not yogurt, but you could play with different flavors. Chefs, do you have any suggestions that you want to put out there as a substitute for yogurt?
Well, you know, if we're introducing, I'm sorry, L'Oreal. If you're introducing maybe some Caribbean flavors, maybe I want to use a coconut-based yogurt, as that's something that's becoming more and more popular now. So a coconut milk could be one.
I love that too. Or, oh, wait, did she say no nuts? Because almond?
Almond would be good. Tofu works. A creamy, soft tofu can be whisked up. And it also can give you, but that would mean that you're comfortable with soy. Yes. So there are things if you're trying to get the creamy feeling. So it depends on what you're looking for. But we do have that alternative as the vinaigrette or the honey mustard, as we said. Children would love that also.
I love it. This is a match made in heaven. Soiree and wellness in the schools. I mean, I have long been a lover of wellness in the schools, because you all champion children and you really prioritize their nutritional health and their socio-emotional health, and you really believe that change starts from the bottom up, right? And so the work that you're doing is incredible. I thank you both for taking time out of your day to come and show us this amazing spread. I have one favor to ask. Would you all take pictures, and would you be so kind as to share the recipes of what you've done so that I can put it up and shout you both out, because this is too good to not have the world know about.
Absolutely. Thank you, of course.
I mean, we do have our forks here. I think we should take a cake.
I think we should. I'll do the kid-friendly plates.
I'm going to take some right off here.
Okay, I'll take a nugget.
And now I'm telling you, everybody here is saying the only challenge is that you all are enjoying that. I'm in Brooklyn, you're in the Bronx, some people are in DC, folks are everywhere. We want the food.
I know. Well, we'll make the recipes available. And as you see, this is one home dinner as far as I'm concerned. The plates are very similar. It makes it easier for the parents. All they did here is chopped up and took the skin off, and they kept it on their own. I mean, this is the way to make dinner at home, and it's simple, but it's still accessible. The child feels a little bit more, it's a little easier for them. We left the fruit whole because we believe in the children understanding what a whole fruit is in its original state. We did slice the pears because it's easier for them to just take a piece as they're eating the food.
Amazing. I see someone shouting out from South Carolina. So nice to see you all.
That's my hometown. We love this in South Carolina.
I love it. So before we part, for anybody that's on that wants to learn more about wellness in the schools, you can go and follow them on Instagram. For people that want to learn more about Quarry Arctic and their sustainable aquaculture, go ahead and follow them on Instagram. I mean, truly, this is a match made in heaven and an incredible, incredible presentation. Again, I thank you both so much for your time and for doing the work that you do.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and love that you became one of our board members.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you so much.